Hi everyone. In this video, I'm going to show how to do rebar detailings for a pad foundation. I have opened Tekla Structures in Canadian environment, and the first thing I'm going to do is create my pad foundation. For doing that, go to concrete, choose pad footing, choose your size. For me, it is 3200 in length by 2700 width. My concrete grade is C35. Okay, and then make sure your top is 0 and your bottom is the height or depth of your foundation. For me, it is 1100. Since it is going below the ground level, I'm going to input minus 1100. I will also write cast unit numbering as pad footing PF. It will be cast in place and that's all. And after that, just place it on a grid that you want. I'm just going to input it on a default grid. I'll just click over here. So that's your pad footing. I am going to create two more copies of it to show how we can copy the rebar details from one footing to another similar footing. For doing that, just press escape first, select your pad footing, press Ctrl C. It says pick the origin for copying. I will use Ctrl P to open the plan view. Select the grid intersection and then just copy wherever you want. I'm going to copy over here and over here. Press escape key. Now let's place some rebars on the pad footings. For doing that, go to rebar, select crossings, and then select the grade of rebar that you want. For me, it is 400W, where W stands for weldable. I am choosing 20M as my size, and then I am not changing any other default values. And for your information, I want to place 23 rebars along the long direction and 18 rebars along the short direction, both of them being the same size 20M. So I will change my creation method to equal distribution by number of reinforcing bar. For long direction, I want 23, so I will type 23 over here and then switch to three-dimensional view by clicking Control and holding your middle mouse button and just drag anywhere so that the view becomes suitable for you. You can see whenever you hover on any of the side, you will see the orientation in which rebar is going to be placed. So I will just select this direction, and after selecting that you will see a contextual toolbar over here. The first one means select all the leg. Second one will unselect all the legs. Usually these have four legs, so if I click that it will unselect all of the legs, and then I'm gonna click the legs that I want. One over here. Just press Control while selecting your legs. One over here, one over here, and then go to your contextual tool. This one adjusts the guideline location. For example, if you don't want the rebars throughout your slab, then it might be useful. And this one defines the legs of the rebar set. So for now, we won't use that. So just place check marks. And then you can see it has placed a 23 number of the rebars along the long direction. Now for placing the bars along the south direction, what I'll do is I'll change the color of the bars by changing the class. I'll make it red by choosing number 2. And then instead of 23 number of the bars, I'll change it to number 18. And then I'll just hover on the concrete and I can see the orientation of the bar over here in this direction. I just click anywhere and then choose your legs. We can do that by clicking on the legs while pressing control button. One over here, one over here, and one over here. And from your contextual tool, press tick mark. So your rebar is placed on the shorter direction, and if you count, there are 18 number of the rebars of size 20 along the short direction. And for the distribution bar, I want 10 bars with the spacing of 200 center to center. What I need to do is change 20 m from here to 10 m, and then change the creation method to equal distribution by target spacing, and change the spacing value to 200. For start offset and end offset, quickly delete that first, and then come to over here, and you can see the orientation. Just click anywhere and it will place a rectangular distribution bar with a spacing of 200 center to center. Click your contextual menu and click the check mark. And now if you press escape, and if you press one of the bar, you can see Tekla has auto calculated the start offset and end offset. If you want your spacing to be proper 200 then you need to change this start offset and end offset. For doing that, you need to know total depth of your foundation and your exact spacing value. So my total depth of the foundation was 1100 if you remember. So if I make start offset is 150, end offset is 150, then there will be four exact spacing of 200 because 4 into 200, which is equal to 800, and plus 300 will be equal to 1100. So that's how you can make exact spacing value. Just click on modify. So you can see we got what we needed. So after doing that, if you zoom in to one of the corners, Tekla will place this rebar in a bit awkward shape. Press Ctrl plus R to click your origin for the rotation and click at the center point of the slab. It will make rotation easier. So right over here you can see overlap, and I don't want to do that. Instead, what I like to do is split the bars so that they can be installed on the field easily. And for splitting the bars, just turn on your direct modification by clicking this button first if it is off. So make sure it has that gray shade behind that by clicking it, and then click one of your rebars. You should be able to see the shortcut keys for making the direct modification. If this button was not clicked, we not have seen these keys over here. So make sure you have clicked that button, and then go to your splitter. And then what I would like to do is split these bars at the midpoint on the shorter side, and split this bar at a distance of 800 from edge on the longer side. So for placing the splitters on shorter direction, just press anywhere on the distribution bar and then click on a splitter. And now you can modify your splitter details. For example, you can change the split type to either lapping or cranking, and if you choose lapping, you can change the lapping type to standard or custom lapping. For now, I'm gonna leave it as it is. And to place it on a certain direction, just hover your mouse near the base slab until you get that snap, and then click your mouse button. It will place a splitter over there. And to place the splitter on other side, you can do the same thing. Just hover your mouse till you see that midpoint and click your mouse. Similarly, for placing the split on the longer direction, I'm gonna change the lapping type to custom lapping, and I'm gonna type like 800 and I'm gonna change lapping side to lap middle, so it is gonna create me 800 lap at the location where I place that split. For placing the split on the longer side also, just hover your mouse till you get that 800 snap and click your mouse. I'm gonna place one more split on this side also. Hover your mouse till you get that 800 snap, and you can press exit button. And you can always change the split properties by clicking on the bar and click on this guideline. And if ever you don't see this guideline, you can go to visibility over here and just make sure the guidelines is checked. Now, one more thing, we haven't placed our split on the other side in the longer direction. We can always copy these splits. For copying, select your split select both of them by pressing Control button. Press Control C. Pick the origin. I'll say my origin is this corner, and it says pick the destination point. I can copy that over here. So you can see, just press exit once. You can see it has placed two more splits over here. So that's what I want. So what we have done is we broke the rectangular distribution bar into a number of splitted bars, and as I said earlier, this makes work on site easier. So that completes the installation of rebar for this pad footing. Now what I want to do is I want to copy the rebar from this footing to the other pad footing that we created earlier. So for doing that, basically there are two ways. One of the ways is to select all the rebars. Select this one, press Control button, select another one, and select your distribution bar as well. And right click, copy spatial to another object, and it says select the source object. Select your concrete pad. Once you hover to the concrete pad, it kind of grays that out. Select it, and then it says select the destination object. I want to select this pad footing over here. Just click over here, and all the rebar are copied to another similar pad footing. The other way is to use the batch editor. For doing that, go to edit option and click on batch editor. It will ask you to select your source assembly. Press the select button. Press your concrete pad which you want to be your source, and then it automatically identifies a similar pad footing in the drawing. If you click on any of the rows, it will show you which footing is it referring to. For example, this one is referring to this footing, this one is referring to this footing, and this one is referring to this footing. Since I have already placed rebar over here, I don't want it to be a target assembly, so I will uncheck this one, and then I'll just click copy, and the job is done. You can see the third footing was also loaded with the rebars that we placed for the first footing. And finally, if you want to do the numbering of the parts, go to drawings and report, click on perform numbering, and click number modified objects. Click on OK and click save numbers. So you can see the parts number in the figure. And then I fast forwarded the portion where I drew another pad footing of size 2500 mm by 1800 mm by 800 mm, where 800 mm was the depth. It was constructed using similar concepts, so there was nothing new to explain for these guys. Now I am going to create another pad footing of size 6700 mm by 3300 mm by 1400 mm, where we will learn how we can manipulate the spacing of the rebars. So for doing that, I will go to concrete pad footing. Then I will quickly edit the dimensions. As I mentioned, I'm going to create it 6700 by 3300. 6700 is the length of the pad footing and 3300 is the width. I'm not going to change the material and finish. The top portion, it is 0. The bottom portion is the depth of the pad footing, which is gonna be minus 1400. I will rename this edge pad footing number 3, and I will place it at any random grid location. I'm gonna place one over here, another one over here, and another one over here. Just press escape key to go out of the command. And then for installing the rebar, click on rebar on the ribbon, click crushing. One point of advice over here is always try to reset your rebar set, because what it will do is it will reset back everything to the default shape. Tekla has this feature where it remembers the previous settings, and if in case you did some mistake in previous setting, that keeps on getting carried forward. So to eliminate that chance, Just make sure you choose the standard and then choose your grade of the rebar. We do 400 oil level over here. Your size, you can choose 20 m from here, but if you see these three dots, it is referring that is 20 m stirrups. So I will just change that to 20 m main bar. Click on OK. Vending radius class, I won't change anything except for equal distribution by target spacing. I will change this to equal distribution by number of reinforcing bar, and I will just delete this and let Tekla calculate the start offset and end offset. Remember, deleting the numbers and typing 0 is not the same thing. If you delete everything, Tekla will auto calculate the start offset and end offset. But if you type 0, it won't. It will just assign the start offset and end offset as 0. So I'll just delete that and I'll change the number of the reinforcing bar to 37, and then I will come over here and hover over the concrete, and whenever I see the desired shape I will click the left mouse button and then I'll choose my legs. I want these rebar to be U-shaped, so I'll choose one leg, control, two leg, control, and click on the third leg, and then go to the contextual menu and click on tick mark. So just press escape to get out of command and click on any of the rebar. So you can see Tekla has auto calculated the start offset and end offset. If I have typed 0, it would not have provided any space and it would start installing the rebars right from the edge, which we do not want. Before proceeding any further, I would like to explain the difference between the rebar set and rebar group. For the rebar group, it gives you flexibility to set your concrete covers, but for rebar sets, it does not give you the flexibility to set the concrete cover. It is assigned a default value, so keep that in mind. And to illustrate how we can change the spacing of the bars within certain length of the section, I will change the creation method by target spacing and I will set it to a fairly large value, for example 500. Click on modify, and then to get out of your command just press left mouse button anywhere in the screen, and then I will install similar rebars on the other direction. So for that I will again go to crossings. I won't change these values because as I mentioned earlier, the previous values will be stored over here. So I'll just hover over the concrete, and when I see my desired shape I will click my left mouse button and then choose your legs by clicking left mouse button over here, and then I will press my control key and I will again press left mouse button over here. So what it does is you can see it highlights this U portion, and then I will click the contextual bar and I'll just click OK. For distribution bar, I won't bother changing the size of the rebar. Let's just change the target spacing value. Let's set that to 300 mm. And then I will hover over here. Let's change the size also. Let's change those to 10 mm and make sure they are chosen as tie or stirrup. Click on OK. I want a full rectangular stirrup, so I'll just press over here and click on OK. So I am seeing that Tekla has placed those distribution bar from very top, which does not look reasonable to me. So I will change the start offset and end offset to a bigger value. To do that, I will just change this value to 150 on start offset and change the value to 150 on the end offset. Click on modify. Looks much better now. To further improve the clarity, I will change the color of the bars. I'll first select the bar going on the shutter span, change the color to red, click on modify, and then I will click on the distribution bar, select green color for those bars, click on modify, and then to come out of the command just press left key anywhere within the drawing window. You can see the change, and now let's come to the main point, which is changing the spacing of the bar for a limited length within a section. So for doing that, I will press Ctrl P to open a plan view. I will zoom into my section by scrolling the middle mouse button and then select the bars going on the shutter span. Click the bar and then click on property modifier. After that, it is always a good idea to reset the form by clicking over here and selecting standard. It helps us to prevent any kind of the error because of the some stupid value that we might have typed. And then come over here, change your modify distribution to S, and then leave the creation method to equal distribution by target spacing. And then, as I mentioned earlier, I want to change the spacing to about half of what was assigned. We assigned 500 spacing on both direction earlier, so I'll change this to 250 target spacing. And then let's say I want to change the spacing within one, two, three boxes on the left side and three boxes on the right side of grid number 4. So make sure your picking mode is changed to the bar select mode. The difference between these is if we have this option enabled, it will select all the bars, which is something that we don't want to do because we just want to change the spacing within the specific region. So for enabling that, just click here once and it will change to bar select mode. So select your bars within which you want to change your spacing. Click over here, here, and finally over here, and then click your middle mouse button. So you can see we have changed the spacing for the bars on the shutter span, and similarly for changing the spacing of the bars on the longer span, just come out of the command by right click, interrupt, and then select your bars on the longer direction, and then go to property modifiers, and then select the region within which you want to change the spacing to a lower value. We don't need to reset the form now because it is something that we have just typed. So if I want to change my spacing within this 4 region, select the bars 1, 2, 3, 4, and then press your middle mouse button. So you can see we have changed the spacing of the bar within limited region of a foundation. Then to come out of this command, right click, interrupt, and then to copy the reinforcing into other two similar foundation, just go to batch editor from edit menu, click on batch editor. My source assembly is this one, so click on select, come over here and hover over the concrete, and whenever it is highlighted select that, and then it automatically detects the other two similar pad footing. And just to verify, whenever you click over here it highlights the corresponding pad footing. If I click over here it highlights this one, and if I click over here it highlights that one. So click copy, and then all the rebar is copied to that part foundation as well. So in this way we can install rebars into our pad foundation. And finally, just the last thing to remember this, just go to drawings and reports, click on perform numbering and click on number modified objects. Click on save numbers, click on OK, and there you go. So if you want to see your rebars more clearly, just press Ctrl 1 and then it will hide the concrete component and it will show you your rebars more clearly. So that's our pad footing number 3. Here is our pad footing number 2, and here is our pad footing number 1. That's all for today. Before signing off, credit goes to YouTube channel Building Point Australia, whose video was recreated here in a more detailed way. A link to their channel will be included in the description, and please feel free to check if you would like to learn more. I will see you soon with the next one. Thank you, everyone.